President Biden is in South Korea today. He's taking his first trip to Asia since becoming president. And on this trip, the president is taking a look at these alliances and relationships in Asia as the war on the other side of Asia, in Europe, in Ukraine, goes on. On the first leg of the trip, he toured a Samsung plant. He's advocating economic security as the U.S. continues to fight global supply chain disruptions caused by the pandemic. So for more on all this, let's bring in ABC News White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks. Mary Alice, what's the most important issue on the trip for the president?
Yeah, Terry, well, first, there's an element of this which is just supporting these democracies in Asia. South Korea has a brand new president, and I think that that President Biden wanted to make a point of showing his support and underscoring the United States' support for democracies all over the globe. Like you said, there's a key economic component to this trip. We're expecting them to announce sort of new frameworks for possible pending trade agreements, something that would replace or be an alternative for the Trans-Pacific Trade Partnership that the U.S. had pulled out of. And then looming over all of it are security issues, not only from China, but from North Korea as well.
So we're talking about the war in Ukraine. It seems a far away from where the president is right now, but it's the kind of event, no problem, and the kind of event in the world that has just scrambled strategy around the world. And I wonder how it might impact the president's agenda, especially as it relates to dealing with China. China, of course, has been eyeing and talking about its right to reunite, as they say, the island of Formosa, Taiwan, with China. That is an independent nation. China doesn't recognize it as such, gets very upset when people suggest it is, and has been building a military capability to take it back via amphibious invasion. And I wonder how that ambition of China and the United States' concern about it relates to the war in Ukraine. Do you get any feeling on this trip as the president is over there talking to Asian allies about that?
Yeah, Terry, I think that everything you just described, the White House has been pressed about this. It's hard to imagine that the issue of Taiwan won't come up in every single one of these meetings, every single one of these conversations. We know that Taiwan is looking at what happened, has been happening in Ukraine. We know that China has been looking at what's happening in Ukraine. We're wondering whether they're learning lessons. And I think the United States is hoping to be able to point to what's going on in Europe as a warning to China, to say that the United States was able to rally allies and partners when it comes to offering military support to Ukraine, but obviously also really devastating economic pressure back on Russia. They want to be able to point to what happened there. Sorry, my voice today, Terry. They want to be able to point to what happened there and say this should be a big warning to China, a big warning to you, Beijing, to not consider anything similar in your own backyard.
Right, and there's certainly a lot of lessons for everyone to learn from that. And while it used to be said in America that politics stops at the water's edge, that was a saying for you youngsters that meant that when the president goes overseas, the sniping about foreign policy of the administration stops, because it's important for America's adversaries and allies around the world to see a united front. That was the old-fashioned way of doing it. White House Press Secretary Jean-Pierre blasted Oklahoma's new controversial abortion bill. However, she's taking a shot at it from overseas, calling it the most extreme effort to undo the fundamental rights in Roe versus Wade. So is the White House planning anything more substantial on this trip to respond to these kinds of laws? And looking ahead, how does the Biden administration respond to the Oklahoma law that is going to be signed?
Yeah, I don't know if we'll see something more substantial than these comments in the next few days while the president is there overseas. But you're right; they're definitely not. They're not hesitating to weigh in, to offer these forceful statements. We know that ahead of the midterms, Democrats and very much this president plan to run on this issue. They think that it is a winning issue for them, even if it is such a devastating issue for so many women across the country. They believe that this is something that voters will maybe flock back to the Democratic Party over. So I think they are not going to remotely hesitate to talk about it at every opportunity that they have. As terms beyond politics, beyond getting people to the polls and make their case, to elect more Democrats, beyond that, I imagine we will continue to see some lawsuits, some language from the Department of Justice, but really they know that they are just waiting to see, the whole country waiting to see what the Supreme Court actually does, and they're going to have to change any plan they have based on exactly what language is rolled out from the Supreme Court, whether or not we're looking at eventual majority opinions like what was leaked or something maybe a little watered down from that. They're going to have to develop a legal strategy based on what the Supreme Court actually decides.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of politics and law yet still to come on that hot button issue. Mary Alice Parks, thanks very much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.